Wear something white. Wear your mask. Stay safe always. For further information, you can see us on Facebook at Pundit Prasad Maharaj, or you can send us a message on 316 3000. Jai Shri Ram.
Sitaram everybody, Pundit Keshava Gosine here, just taking time to remind you about the ongoing book drive at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. It has been our observation that many children, and things are getting harder now, parents can't get that extra to buy books for leisure reading. But in today's world, there is a high illiteracy level amongst children and young at heart people. So what we're doing, we're collecting those gently used books that are still in good condition that we could re-gift to people, parents, children, and anybody for that matter that would use them. If you have books just lying around, we are willing and happy to accept them. Please, for more information, get in contact with us. You could WhatsApp me, or you could WhatsApp Mommy Baba through our numbers, WhatsApp, Facebook, any medium. Get in contact with us and join us in this venture. I thank you, and God bless you and bless your family. Sitaram. Sitaram, everybody. Pundit Keshava here, just reminding you about our ongoing classes here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. Here, starting in September, when the academic year is going to restart, we have classes in Sanskrit at different levels, Hindi at different levels, Ramayana, Gita, Hanuman Chalisa, Bal Ramayana for young children, for teenagers, we have Ramayana classes to encourage that learning, training, teaching, to ensure the propagation of our Dharma. For more information, please get in contact with me. Also here at the ashram, we are a branch for the Shiv Sangeet School of Music, headed by that master, Shivanand Maharaj. Everybody, as he always tells me, everybody has talent, everybody has a gift, something God-given. But you need that guru to groom it and to develop it and to grow your child in that way. Or maybe you're an adult and you always wanted to do it, now is the time. All these classes are online and it works for you whether you are watching Sankhya or you are watching from abroad or wherever in this world you are. This is an opportunity for you to learn and to better your skill and to grow your inner talent. Whether it is on the music side or the academic side, the religious side, whatever is your fancy, please get in contact and find out more. Get in touch and register now. Everybody, God bless you, blessings to your family, and we'll talk soon. Sitaram.
Sitaram, and thank you for joining us. You are about to enjoy a satsang by Pundit Keshava Gosine. You can call or WhatsApp Pundit Keshava Gosine at 712-2180. Sitaram, and do enjoy this presentation.
Prem Solavindravan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Sitaram, everybody, and welcome to Satsang, our third session here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram, where we have been engaging in Devi Bhagwat Gyan Yagna. As we get set to enter into today's discourse, I invite you all now to please draw your hands, close your eyes, and for a short while, let's pray together. Om Gajananam Buddhaganadi Sevitam
Kapita Jammu
Palachara Bhakshitam Umasutam Sho Kavinashatarakam
Namami Vigneshwara
Parapankajam. Devi, in the form of Adi Shakti, we listen to your discourse again. Mother, may you bless all your children, those near and far, wherever your devotees are viewing this evening, wherever they may be, may you bless them, may you touch their lives. Mother, may you please hear our prayer. Sarvamangalamangale
शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके
Sharanye
त्र्यम्बिके गौरी
Narayani Namostute. At this time, think of your Guru, that person who uplifts, that teacher that gives you knowledge. That giver of knowledge gives so many opportunity, whether in the school system or the spiritual guru, the musical teacher. Remember these individuals as we thank God for them. Because of them and the knowledge that they impart, the quality of our life is able to improve. Dear God, wherever my guru are, wherever my gurus are, may you bless them. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu,
Guru Devo
Maheshwara,
Guru Sakshat
Param Brahma,
Tasmai Shri
Guruve Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Everybody.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
One last time. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Prem Sulamapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Again, cordial welcome if you came in after. And if you're watching on the repeat on Facebook or YouTube or any other social media platform, Pranam, Namaste, and Sitaram to each and every one of you. For the past 2 nights, we have been discussing different forms of Devi. As we have been going into Devi Bhagwat and supporting texts, Mastya Puran, and other texts, dealing with firstly Swaha Devi and then secondly Swadha Devi. Based on our conversation, many people say their names, many people use these Devis, but they don't know the benefit or the truth behind them. And we learned about the mantra, the stotra, the history, and even what are the possible benefits by doing their worship. We spoke, for example, about yesterday, how do you invocate these forms and how are they beneficial to you and I? We've discussed Sodas Matrika, Sapta Matrika, Grita Matrika worship, and different things. We spoke about the triangle that we sometimes see when we go to Yagna, and they might be doing puja where the 64 flags are standing. Why is that so? Today, before we get into our discourse today from Devi Bhagwat, let's begin in our Bhagavad Gita, where again, the importance of knowledge is being expressed in chapter 4 as we enter into verse 36. Here he is telling Arjuna, even if you are the most sinful of sinners, you will cross that sin, that history of sin, when you achieve the wrath of knowledge. That the knowledge is what takes a person over to raise them up, to cause change in their life, their behavior. Just as, in the next verse, just as blazing fire burns the fuel to ash, O Arjuna, the fire of knowledge burns away bad behavior, bad attitude, weak and basic thinking in the same way. There is nothing in this world that is a purifying force like knowledge. And blessed is that person who realizes that early in life. Even if it is that there are weaknesses in our inherent knowledge, our capacity to understand our dharma, even if there are muddy points, even if there are little things that we need to shine up and polish in order to gain better understanding of our Dharma. It is only then when you realize that I need to improve, then you're going to see the change. And maybe, just maybe, when the person goes to do their worship, their charity, or whatever goodly activity they're doing, they'll be able to do it with a better mindset, a better outlook, with a better understanding. This is our purpose. In these 3 nights, when you hear people talk about Gyan Yagya, Gyan referencing to the knowledge that you and I, we all need in order to move forward in this life. Prem Sabolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. Everybody please draw your hands as we do Devi Bhagwat Sumiran before we enter into our discourse. And as we pray, we ask Ganesh Baba for his blessings, that may you please allow us, dear God, in your various forms, the ability to understand what is about to disseminate from our text, the memory to hold on to that information, and the ability to put it into practice, the wisdom to use the knowledge in our day-to-day life. Gauri Shambhu Gira Guru Govind Ganapati Gang Sumire Vyas Vash Karta Devi Katha Prasan Jasudeha Mati Mati Vishaya Stitita Jo Jagamat Matina Lekat Jahi Rupa Ko Mati Prirak Dhyan Sakala Nigama Utsamani Hrile Ka Jagwan Matu Bhavani Ke Charana Namo Nama Sukhakan Shri Shankaracharya Aru Mata Pita Shiranaya Devi Bhagwat Granth Ke Bhasha Likhat Banaya Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu
Matri Rupena Samstita
Namastasye
Namastasye Namastasye Namo Namah.
Come on everybody together. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye Namastasye
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Vishnu Maiti Shabdita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. As we enter into Devi Bhagwat, again we are in book 9 of chapter 45, where Narad Muni is speaking to Lord Vishnu, and he has been asking about the various forms of Devi, and he is saying that I have heard something about Swaha, I have heard something about Swadha Devi. May you please tell to me the inner workings, the history of these forms. And now he says, I have heard something about a Devi called Dakshina. Dakshina Devi. Now at this point, let me ask you a question. As a Hindu, as a Sanatanist, what do you know? Analyze yourself. If we are ready to gain in knowledge, we first have to realize sometimes what we know and what we don't know. What do you understand by the word Dakshina? I have heard, Baba, that when the prayers finish, I pay my Guru Dakshina. I give Dakshina to Guruji or the Punditji. Is that all Dakshina is? Can Dakshina be anything other than monetary, physical cash or whatever. What is that? What is the history of it? And why do you give it is more importantly the question I want to ask. What is the value or the purpose behind this gift, this charity that we give when we have different occasions, birthday, anniversary, different things happening in our lives? Today in this discourse, we will also hear about the means to purify our wealth. What are we supposed to do when you want to have this thing called barakat? Have you ever heard of that? What is the tie between the dakshina or the money or our savings and the Lakshmi? There is a correlation. And in this discourse, we are going to hear as Lord Vishnu, from his lips, he is telling to Narad Muni the rules. In these times when inflation is so high and so many people cannot get a job, we have to do what we can do, practically speaking, to help ourselves save, if at a minimum, save the money that we do have to be able to secure our bread and butter tomorrow. So from that perspective, here comes a discourse that teaches you from your dharma how to maintain your cash, how to grow your savings in a consistent way. Is there or are there things that we could do different that would bring about positive change? Let's get into our discourse tonight as we listen to this form, about this form, and the relevance to our day-to-day life. Let's join together in our first look as Narad is very anxious, as usual, to hear more about God. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
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 Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Gopi Sushila Goloke Puran Asi Priyasi Hare Radha Pradana Sanchit Dhyana Manya Manohar Ativadham. Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Kalavati ko Malalangi Kamta Kamala Lochani Sushruni Surasani Sam Nyagre Ye Pura Mangalati Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
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 Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Jai Sambh Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. Lord Vishnu says, Narad, this question that you're asking is going to clarify things for a lot of people. A lot of people listening to this discourse, based on your one question, they are going to get a lot of blessings and help. Dakshina is not to be confused with Dakshin Kali. Sometimes when I'm doing this discourse, people think when I say Dakshina, I am talking about one of the forms of Kali Mata. There is a form called not Mahakali, not Bhadrakali, Dakshina Kali, but that's something else, and that's for another day. Then, as we were talking yesterday, when the girl just had the baby, on the 6th day and the 12th day, we go and we look for the Yogini Chakra where we are looking to see which direction, when they're bathing on the 6th day and the 12th day, which direction she should face. In that chakra, you will come across a word Dakshin. Dakshin is the Hindi word for south or southern. Sometimes in our research, we will come across this word. But that has no bearing on this. Dakshina is a form of Devi that we are about to hear about. He says, O Narad, it started off in Golok with a beautiful gopi, a helper, a friend, a companion to Radhika Devi or Radha Devi named Sushila. Sushila is described to be a very beautiful, very intelligent, very knowledgeable person. She was very close to Radha. And she had within her a type of devotion where she looks at Lord Krishna with love, where she sees him not only as a divine, but he has the qualities that she would see fit to be married to as a husband, as a divine spouse, etc. And one day it so happened that lost in thought, when she sees him as they were dancing in the Ras Mandal, all of them are together, all the gopis are jumping, Radha Devi is very happy, Krishna is close to her, and for that she's exuding joy. And in that moment, Sushila, when Krishna sat down at a particular point to catch his breath, Sushila sat on the left side of Krishna. That spot, to be clear, is reserved for the consort, the wife. Let's hear what happens when, in that moment, Radha sees. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi
Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah
Sambhavanam ye mukhi Beina madhusudana Drishtva radham cha parantu Gopinam pravaradhayatam Ya Devi sarvabhuteshu
Shakti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye Namastasye
Namastasye Namo Namah.
Radha noticed what had happened, and she sees in the body of Sushila a certain amount of blush, a certain amount of happiness, a different type of happiness as she is sitting close to Krishna, and Radha did not like that. Radha, known for her temper, her eyes become red. Her body starts to quiver with the anger of this infraction that Sushila had committed. That regardless to what, nobody supersedes the position of a wife. And seeing the temperament change in Radha, Krishna became very attentive. O Narad, he doesn't like conflict, he doesn't like confrontation. And when he saw Radha coming closer and closer to where they were, he disappears, fearing the quarrel that was about to ensue. Sushila and all the other gopis, the peacefulness of that moment is disturbed when they see the reaction to Radha Devi. Now very aware of the mistake that she has made, she gets up quickly. All the gopis, everybody prostrate themselves in front of her and they beg her, Devi, please calm down, please calm down, please calm down. Forgive us, as they collectively ask her for that blessing. Raksha rakshate yuktavatam Devi mati punaha punaha Yadho bhaven sharanam tasya Rana pankaj ye. Oh Radhe, Radhe, please protect us, save us, bless us, Mother. Protect us from your anger. Mother, please calm down. Please don't get upset. And in that way, when they were begging, Sudama, Mansukh, and all the others, Gopas, Gopis, everybody together, they now humbled themselves in front of her. But from her lips, quivering as they were, she pronounced Shrap on Sushila, that because of your behavior, because of your envy, as it were, against my consort, if you have to leave here now. This is my only chance I'm giving you. Leave here now. If you come back, you will be burned to ashes. With that being pronounced, Sushila does leave Golok. But she leaves that place and she goes to pray. Let's hear what happens in the next look. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah
Nalokya Paraha Krishnam Radha Vakari Karaka Yugakoti Samamane Shanbhedhana Subrat Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo
Those of you looking on at home, join with us. Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
As soon as Radha had pronounced the curse, she forgets Sushila and she starts to look for Krishna. Not able to find him. A moment, a minute felt to her as if she was separated from him for as long as a yug. She began to speak as if he was in the air around her. Oh dear one, oh presiding Devta over my life, why are you absent? Come back, I will not quarrel, I will not be angry. And she starts to say a prayer. Now sometimes again, when we talk about Dakshina, the last thing you are going to think about or that might come to your mind is this type of discourse. This is the discourse that shows the value of a husband. Many times in discourses we speak a lot about the ladies and the vows and the bond between husband and wife. But too often, as Father's Day is coming, the men are shadowed and overshadowed. But when we have problems at home, then we want to know why or what could we do. In this discourse, Radha, at this time where the husband has left, truthfully, the husband has left, and she's going to voice and echo the value of a husband. And I pray that those of you looking on, if you have your husband with you, God bless you, keep fighting the good fight. But for people who are having problems, please consider the other side of the story. Because to make a relationship work, it needs two people. When we as pundits check the compatibility between two people, there's always that line. If both parties want to make it work with strong compromise, anything is possible. If both parties are willing to make something work, the impossible could come possible. But there must be mutual respect. A marriage, a relationship cannot be only focused on one side. It has to be given to the other side. So today, just for today, I'm going to focus based on this discourse on the value of the husband. And you're going to hear where she says, what is the difference between the son and the husband? And we'll talk about that just now. She begins to speak as if she's talking to him, but he's not there. Invisible as he is, he is listening to her, the content of her speech, and we get to hear some of it. Let's hear what she says as she starts to say this word. This stotra that she's chanting, this prayer, is something that we use in Yagna. When the wedding ceremony is going on and we want to bless the couple, this is something that is chanted. Please listen and see if you know these things and if you think like this in your home. When you say, let's say you are taking up your terry on your anniversary day to arity your husband, or you're lighting the cake, celebrating life, giving thanks for the good, the bad, the years you had together. Because God knows it's not always perfect, but you make it last by your endeavor and your compromise. Listen to the words of Radha Devi, not human, not Pundit, but the goddess is speaking to her Devta. Let's hear what she says. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Samba Sada Shiva, Jaya Samba Sada Shiva,
Tab Sharanam,
Stighavah Pati Sukha Bhavana, Dvaidrata Cha Dhine Dhine Sukham, Cha Vipulam Vyas Samyate Sevat Bharya Sada Sade. Jaya Bhole
Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam.
Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam.
She says, Prabhu, when a person has the favor of their husband, nobody can be happier than that woman who is in the bond. She is in the connection of marriage. This is in reference of marriage. This is not friend. This is not outside friend, common law friend. This is marriage we're talking about. She says, when that person that is born in the body of a female, and I know we spoke about this in the last 3 nights we did, that the karma of a woman and the karma of a man is different. Just a recap. How does God know who to put? Remember, the soul is described in Gita as this energy, let's say like this dear light. So what makes a man and a woman is a difference in karma. According to the Hindu text, Manusmriti and other places, it says that the man has a little bit more, to be quite honest, of blessing than the female. And it is this that explains the differences in their lifestyle and their life experience. Meaning, man and woman, born the same way, practically the same body. However, when they reach puberty, boy has a good time, easy time, pain-free. But the girl, she experiences physical pain to do the same development. Go forward again. Honeymoon night. Both are happy, they get married. The man is normal, but the woman dependent may have pain. We're going to become parents, Baba. Wonderful. The father is very happy, proud. How much pain does he have? The lady goes through that time and she comes out as a mother, but equally without any pain. The father is a father, cannot do it without him. Likewise, go forward in life. When the lady and the man reach to the menopause age, that senior age, the man is a macho man, but the lady is going through what we cannot write down in a book till today. Different people have different traits, different experiences, some good, some bad. It seems as if the girl has a little more punishment to face in this life. And that is explained in our text, that this girl has a little bit more sin. And in this life, depending on how you approach life, you could increase the burden of sin or you could lessen the burden of sin. For this reason, she says here, when the helpless creature, the woman, is born into this life, she is born under the house of the Father. She doesn't know independence. She's born under the tutelage, the name, everything of the father. She follows his rules, his guidance, etc. And then one day she's handed over from the father into the husband's home. And then she has to follow that name, that lifestyle, that rigor, that if it's how to throw salt in the pot, however you want to list the example, she has to change now. She has to readapt herself. And the man doesn't have to do that. Then go forward, our text says that one day she becomes, maybe the husband might die or he becomes sickly, and she becomes under the care of the son now. And the son is the one who takes care of the parent at that age. But only, O Christian, when she's under the care of the husband, does she know freedom and growth. It is here she will find her identity. It is here she will become close to her true friend, the husband. It is only in that time and space can she develop her spirituality, her knowledge, and her likes and dislikes. In earlier times, in later times, she would be limited by the abilities of her body. But in the company of husband, if it be a good time, she is going to be the happiest during that time with the husband. That is a time, oh husband, happiness, peace, contentment, development, all these things are possible. And if she is so lucky to meet somebody like you, O Kanha, who shows that honor, shows that respect to the spouse, then by doing the honor, her duty, whether it is, let me just say, to support him, scold him, guide him, because God knows husbands need that counsel. In a different kata, it talks about the role of the wife to oppose the husband. If he's making a mistake, what does the good wife do? Allow him to go down the road? In Ramayana, when Ravan was going haywire, his wife says, no, send Sita out. If you listen to the discourse where, and I know we did it together, when how Sita Mata was born. Sita is brought in the chest as a little baby. And when Mandodari saw inside the little girl and she knew that that little girl is going to be an end to her husband and so on, she says, husband, you are stupid. How? Knowing what you know, the shrap that you know, how could you bring that little girl here? Send it away from here. Bury it under the earth. Don't we know the story that Sita Mata, while Janak was plowing the field, the plow hits the chest in the earth. And from in the earth, the bellows of the earth, we come with a little girl. And that is what the name Sita refers to, the one that comes from the earth. It was the wife of Ravan that opposed him before, and even when he was going haywire, she says, please do not allow my sons to die. She did what she had to do, and even in that situation, she gained the blessings. If a husband is respected, or Christian, the wife is respected. And when the husband is honored, the woman feels that pride, that honor together with him. He becomes her highest friend. Truthfully, there is no better friend than a goodly, godly husband. Just as how in the Lord Shiva Satimata relationship, just as how there are many examples of Lakshmi and Lord Vishnu, where Lakshmi Mata took the form of the horse, what we in today's world in the Panchmukh Hanuman form, where Hanumanji has a horse head, Hayagriv, where they are linked in that way. What one experience, the next one experience. She says, don't you know how I look at you? Don't you know how I think about you? She says, let me tell you how I refer to you. Let's hear what she says in this verse. Pahi pahi, pahi pahi, Gajanana, Vatinanda Gajanana, Ekadanta Gajanana,
Ekadanta Gajanana,
Anekadantam Gajanana, Pahi pahi,
Pahi 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 Gajanana Parvati Nanda Gajanana.
Let's hear what she calls her husband, and I'm asking you at home today, what do you call your husband? Are there any rules to how you address your husband? Of course, in a different discourse, there will be how you call your wife. But listen to what she says. Bharana deva bharta cha palana pati rupate sharire yascha swami swami kamdha khanta uchayate bhanduye yatam sukha buddhyescha pratidevascha priya smriti tamna ishande dhana deshati pahi pahi. Save me, Prabhu. Rescue me.
Pahi pahi
Gajanana
Parvati Nanda Gajanana.
Prabhu, the woman who knows the value of her husband doesn't wait until separation like this sinner, She's talking about herself. Please listen. Not like me to only appreciate you when you are not here. No. The wise woman refers to her husband as Bharta because he is the true support. He is the one that gives her all the strength. Bharta. That person, we call him Pati because he preserves her. Parvati Pati, Kailash Pati, the person who will do whatever to save, rescue her, make sure the door locked in the night, to do all that. But if you ever see it, imagine two of us walking down, me and Mommy Baba walking on the pavement. And instead of putting her to the roadway, the husband come on the other side and puts you on the inside. I grew up seeing my nana used to do that with my grandmother. And these little things, you don't plan for it, but you notice it. That when you care for somebody, you do what you have to do to safeguard. We don't wait until we're in trouble. But in the little things, the mannerisms, this is where this person becomes a Pati. Sometimes you hear it in your ZTV movies, you might hear it, Pati Dev, Pati this, Pati that. But the name is identifying the characteristics of this man. That this man would do whatever he has to do. This is not calling for the big job or the fat. This is causing for care. That little word called care. Having that type of mindset. Girl, you want me to help you to live X, Y, and Z. You want me to help you wash the wares. Your back hurting, your foot hurting. Let me rub your foot. And when it comes to safety now, this is where the word Pati comes to play. He is called Swami because he is the one who is the master. To be frank, to be straightforward. When somebody calls him Swami, when the wife in particular calls him Swami, what she's saying, of all the men in this world, of all the people that I could have been attached to, you are the master of my body. There is no man on equal footing as you in that regard. When a woman addresses her husband in that way, that title, the police have different stripes on the shoulder to show their rank and file. There is no word higher than that because of that position in that woman's life. I cannot see myself with any other man. There is no other man allowed or authorized to touch me or to speak to me in that private way as a husband could. Swami. He is called Kanta because he is the one that she looks to when there's a desire. When, sometimes it is not always what you ask for. But there comes this person that knows you so good. For example, if Mommy Baba go to sit down to eat dal and rice, and I have to take out our food, I know in my plate I go put the rice and the dal separate. But in her plate, everybody have their liking. So this kanta, this type of husband, he would know, okay, she wants the rice and the dal and the little salad and everything in that way. The person knows the likes and what the person may need if they're having a bad day, what they might enjoy without the person saying it. Before the person could realize they might want that for themselves. Girl, look, I bring a little ice cream for you. Or I'll leave a chocolate for you. Or I'll leave peace for you. And in that way, with that type of mind, to bring that type of joy, really speaking, who else is supposed to be able to do that for you? Who else at that level where you're able as a woman to trust yourself to say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I like, etc. And sometimes when you cannot say it, let's say somebody dies in the family and you're looking for support, before you could say, I need help, I need somebody to hold me, now I'm in trouble. The kanta is the person who knows what she desires in the moment. Another name, she says, oh Kanha, I call you Bhandu. You hear in Trinidad, in Suriname, people refer to husband, they say Budu, Bhandu, Bandhu. It becomes, that name is referencing this person I call husband, because this person amongst everybody is the main person that anything, everything they do, it is as if they're trying to always increase my happiness. When my job stressed me out, when the children stressed me out, when my own family stressed me out, my husband is a source of happiness. Now, having said this, let's not be naive. No marriage is perfect. Not every day is going to be ice cream and chocolate. Let's agree. But when you could work it out, when you get past those choppy days, those rough waters, and you could get back to happy days, this is what we are also talking about. That ability to heal, to move forward, to forgive even. She calls him Priya or Priye, the one who brings pleasure in different ways to her. She calls her husband Isha, the one who brings prosperity. Prosperity, or in the form of good luck. Prosperity could be children, it could be the home, preserving the home, the quality, the standard of a life. This man who would go above and beyond. When you look at the typical traits of a man and a father, a husband, you see people who selflessly give the time, the effort, toiling at way, at hard work. Maybe the woman couldn't do. Not saying that every woman is the same, but generally speaking, men work hard, and we admit that, we look at that, we admire that, and we give them credit. And when she calls him Isha, it is because this person is contributing in a way nobody else is contributing to her level of comfort and prosperity. He is called Pranishwar because he is the not only God of, they say in the prana, but the one who leads the prey. Now that's a different thing. When you marry somebody and you depend on that person for the spiritual side, think of an older couple and she's hoping that when her hands are tired, for example, the husband would help her. I remember growing up with my grandparents, and when my grandfather going to mix hidar, it's Friday, and he want to offer hidar, don't worry girl, I'll mix one for you. Just as she would have done in earlier times. When she is not able, when she becomes, because of pregnancy or monthlies or whatever, she's not able, her husband would sit down and offer on her behalf. If your husband is the person that could pray on your behalf, is there anybody else in that way could do that? And when it comes to prayers, this is why we call him Pranishwar. Some of the mantras and stotras, when husband and wife are sitting to pray together, they refer to him as this, because he's the one that could do prayer on behalf of the girl when she cannot do it herself, depending on the situation. He is called Ramana because he is the only person that could bring this type of joy to her. To everybody else, she's a daughter. To everybody else, she's a mother. But to this person, she's always going to be a friend, a young girl, somebody to make a joke with regardless. she is getting to enjoy herself and be herself in the company of her husband. For this reason, we call him Ramana. There is no other thing dearer to a woman than her husband. Yes, she makes a very important point here. Many women will get confused and say there is no dearer thing to a woman than her children. A son comes because of a husband, but a husband cannot come because of a son or daughter for that matter. A son and a daughter is very dear. No argument on that, Christian. But understand, it is only the husband that could give you the children that you so love and caress and relish. Let's hear what she says to him in this next verse. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol.
Shata Putra Paraye Swami Kul Janam Priyaye Sada Asakha Kul Prasutaha Ye Katham Vijnanaha. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol.
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 She says, O Kanha, a husband is dear to that woman more so than her father's house. As she leaves that life behind, she begins a new journey in her existence. From that one individual called husband, 100 sons could come. If a person, because in Gita he says that a person gains the mother, a person gains the womb they come from. Now consider this. In chapter 1 of Bhagwat Gita, he says we are in Kali Yuga when the ladies stop doing their duty, stop teaching. And what he means is, imagine who you would have been if your mother didn't teach you certain things. In our prayer, we always say, Tvameva Mata, he said it yesterday in Gita, I am your mother is your first guru. And why? Because mommy teaches things that nobody else could teach. When you're now learning how to eat, how to table manners, good morning, Sitaram, little things that take you in this life. Your mother is the one who would ring your ears and say, listen, go back and pick up your book. Practice your instrument, read your Hindi, whatsoever. Your mother is the one who might entice you to learn how to seke the roti. Mommy does that. Pundit doesn't teach you how to seke roti. Mommy is the one who begins you like a platform, taking you forward in this life. So what he says is, suppose you come from a womb, you have a mother, but she doesn't teach you as much. Suppose you are not brought up with that level of thinking that I need my education, I need to have discipline, I need to dress properly or be well groomed or have manners. Then the person who comes from that lower type of womb, they are going to be less prepared for this life. How far will they reach? In terms of karma, this is where if a person is blessed, they are born to a lady that will give them a high standard of teaching and living. But if you do not have that karma, you come from a family where you are robbed of that knowledge and you are just left without it. Maybe you are born into a home where the genes, the genetics you're born with, you are predisposed to disease, one, affecting the outcome of your life. Then secondly, suppose you're born in a home where you're not safe. Every day on the news you hear people interfere with children, rob children, kidnap children, all type of horror stories. What did those children do to gain such a bad experience? The truth is, in our dharma, as we heard in our last yagya, when Yudhishthira is speaking to Bhishma, why do bad things happen to good people? Good people sometimes have a track record of bad karma. So in this life, that karma is following you. And it even follows into the family you're born into. And the boy, if it's a boy child, he's born and he has to remain there. There's no upliftment for him. He has to wallow into that family. He belongs to that family. But the girl is different. When the girl is born into a very base, impure, less in terms of stature, financially, in terms of their practices, in terms of prayer, however you want to look at it, she can be lifted out of that circumstance by virtue of the qualities inherent in her husband. Her husband then becomes as if she has gone to some tirat, done some yagya, done some type of prayer, and by accompanying the husband, she's going to be washing away the sins that she once had. When a lady sits together with her husband to pray, to do charity, to do pitra yagya, it is as if she is circumambulating divine tirat, places of worship, doing different type of austerities, simply by being the other half in this marriage. By being and doing her duty, she gets the blessing that me and you might be looking for through puja and great amount of yag. Making great gifts, doing holy fast as dictated in the sastras, serving the guru, serving the brahmanas, doing devta puja, doing all these things can never compare to 1/16 in terms of blessing that the lady gets when she serves her husband. In this instance, and this is a very important part, when a person has a husband that has these pure and powerful qualities, and the woman is able, with a good heart, a good mind, to do her duty, rest assured, by doing her duty, she will be able to upgrade herself. Prem se bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Radha continues to speak, and she's praying that in this way, when a woman is imparted in knowledge the value of her husband and she takes her marriage very seriously, there is no way, oh Krishna, you would not understand, but there is no way anybody else could be more valuable to this lady. And thus saying, Radhika, she started to think and pray to Krishna. She closed her eyes and she went into her prayer. Let's hear what happens in this verse. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarva
Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Darshanam Dehi Ramana Dina Vira Dukhita Ata Dakshina Dakshina Devi Vyadhalok Golokyata Muninatha Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu
Shakti Rupena Samstita
Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Now as she sat there, closed her eyes, you could imagine she's emotional, she's reactive, but quieting the mind, she calms down and thinking of Krishna, calling on him as Ramana, based on what we just explained. Calling him name after name, he comes. And when he came close to her, he hugged her. And it is only then Radha regained her composure as he came close to her. But what happened? Narad Muni wants to know what happened to Sushila. What became of Sushila? Why are you telling me half the story, Lord Vishnu, but you're not telling me about this person? What does she have to do with Dakshina? What are you talking about? Please, please, I cannot wait. I want to hear more. And in this way, like a child asking this question, Lord Vishnu says, please, I did not forget, listen. Sushila ran out of Golok and she went in a remote area and she started to do prayers with tears flowing from her. For an entire year she sat there and she was calling upon Devi, Mother, I didn't do anything. Mother, I did not have any negative intention. Mother, but I still incurred a shrap. May you bless me, Ma. May you bless me to be one day in such a place that I must be in a marriage, in a relationship where I am just as how Radha is worshipped in her relationship. Bless me to be worshipped by my spouse. Lord Vishnu says, when a person with heartfelt devotion prays, never doubt, never let doubt break your faith. Never sit, and we see this in Bhagwat Gita. There are many people who say, yes, Baba, I believe in prayers, I just do my prayers. But then there are also people who says, I get a diagnosis of a very bad disease. I don't know if that Durga Puja could handle that big bad cancer, for example. And the same prayers that you grew up doing, the diya that you're lighting, this diya could tackle sickness. This man in this house giving so much trouble, the wife giving trouble, this little diya could handle that. And in Bhagavad Gita, he says it, you could have the best faith, but when you are tested in your life. Yesterday, what did we talk about? In Hinduism, there is no devil. In other faith, we have the belief that good comes from God and bad comes from the devil. But this lady says, I will take forms. And when in your life there is a need, I will put a test to you. Will you hold to your faith in times of trouble, or will you drop? So, for example, we spoke about Shashti Mata, one of her forms, where if she's happy, you worship her, you keep her happy, children will grow, develop, great. And that same Shashti, when she's not happy, she's responsible for stillbirth, miscarriages, children being born with all forms of special needs, special diseases, etc. Because it all comes from Mother, from God. Another form that she has is a form called Savitri. When Savitri is happy, marriage life, that is my best friend. We could laugh and talk, we eat together, everything we together, like two friends. And when she's not happy, these two people irritate each other so. And it seems as if there's no way it could get better. That same Devi tests your faith. One of the tests, one of the way faith is broken is when you let doubt get into your mind and your body. Because from the time you allow that doubt to set in and you don't hold to your faith strong, if you don't sit down and pray, dear God, like Hanuman Baba, dear God, please make me a better devotee. Please give me that strength, not physical strength, but the ability that when I'm in trouble, when I see something coming, when somebody's in the hospital and I'm in the waiting room and I'm fretting, in that moment of fear, don't let doubt come into me, but give me the strength to Shri Guru Charana Saroraja. In the moment, let me find in my mind and in my heart. Then a person is going to rise above the situation. What did she do? She wants to be in such a relationship to find happiness, but she wants to have her own Ramana, her own Swami, her own consort. And she sat down there and she was praying to Lord Vishnu, please hear my prayer and bless me with this type of existence. And while she was sitting and she was praying, Mahalakshmi and Lord Vishnu appeared to her and they saw her, closed eyes, tears streaming, and she's praying. And what happened? There was this form of Kamala Devi, the consort of Lord Vishnu. And Kamala Devi took the energy of Sushila and merged her within her body. to bring her back when the time was necessary. After some time, from the body of Mahalakshmi comes out a form called Martya Lakshmi, or the Lakshmi of the earth. And from that lady came Sushala now in a different form called Dakshina. What was the problem at the time? People on earth were doing great amount of tapasya. People on earth were doing great amount of dhyan and puja and the best type of austerities, everything. But when the Baba go to do or to guide the people, who is going to get the blessing, the Yajman or the Baba? It so happened that only the Pandit was getting the blessing and not everybody else. So the Devatas went to Brahma for help. And when they did this, Lord Brahma went and he prayed to get help of Lord Vishnu. And this is what is about to happen. Let's hear in this verse, as Dakshina is going to be created for a purpose. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bhole
Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jaya Bole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Brahma Dadhau Tam Yagye Purnata Chakarmanam Yagyaha Sampujya Vidhivatam Tushtavatara Sadhanayate Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam
Jaya Bole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam
Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam.
Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. From the body of that Martya Lakshmi, Mother gave to Lord Vishnu this young girl called Dakshina, who was Sushala reborn. Lord Vishnu calls out from the Yagya, from the fire, the energy of the Bedi, the Yagya Devta, the main Dev, the main force of any type of Yagya. He takes form there and he says, "Oh Yagya Dev, I wish you, the presiding Devta of all the austerities, puja, Yagya, big prayers, small prayers, I wish you to accept this goddess, this daughter of mine, Dakshina Devi." And in this way, when Yagya Dev takes Dakshina hand, he right there, he starts to pray. And it was as if from the heart of this Dakshina, who was Sushala from her prayers, it was time for her to gain her blessings based on her prayer. Kamalasya komalangi kamalayatalochanyaham kamalasan pujanam cha kamalagasma sudhanam. May you, O whose face is beauty, you who have a golden hue, your hair is full with so much luster, it is as if you have moons trapped in the tresses of your hair. My dear, you have eyes that are like the flowers. You who are born from the body of Lakshmi, you have endowed within you all the marks of the goddess of this universe. It is for my benefit as a husband, a true husband, to admit the value in his life when such a goddess come into my life. Which man does not see the value of the blessing of the consort that he gains? When that person could be his friend, when that person could be his companion, his advisor, his honest critic. What more could a man want? In this way, as if he had been pierced by the arrow of Kamdev, God of love, Yagya Dev speaks to Dakshina, and Dakshina is so overcome that this is what she prayed for. This is what she wanted, to be appreciated so much, to be worshipped even in her marriage, that she gives herself to this person, happily gets married to him. And right there, when the husband held her for the first time, she actually fainted in his arms, overwhelmed by emotion. And seeing them marry and all the different rites and rituals being conducted, Brahma was the Pundit, Lord Vishnu played the part of the father of the bride, Lakshmi Devi was there, gave to her different types of blessings. That when a person worships you, when a person calls you, O Dakshina, when your husband Yagya Dev is being worshipped in the puja, on the bedi, in the fire, when his worship is being done and you are invoked into that prayer, the benefits and the blessings that you will bring will manifest in that person's life, in this life as well as in the next life. One by one, this is like when we have the when they're doing Pav Puja, and all the ladies come to say, welcome to the club. I bless you with children. I bless you with happiness. You see, sometimes people don't understand why we ensure the person given that blessing is a married woman. Think about it. If a young girl who's not married, who is not knowledgeable of the good days and the bad days of marriage, what it takes to make a marriage work, if she comes to bless you, what is she going to bless you with? But when you're an old stalwart in marriage, not every day is good, let's be fair and honest, but you know what it takes to make a marriage last, a home established after 20 years, 15 years, 13 years, whatever it is. And you say, you know what, I wish you, from my experience, I wish you to have better times. I wish you to have happy times. I wish you to have more prosperity than me. I bless you with that. After you have walked that road, you can then talk about it. You could then guide somebody. But if you don't know about it, how are you going to bless somebody with that? For this reason, when this girl's wedding was being done, in the moment, all the Devis had come and bless her and give her words of encouragement that when you support your husband, you are going to see your happiness, your growth in that happiness go beyond your imagination. And based on the blessings of Kamala Devi, that you will be able to become a mother in short time, she did become pregnant. And from Dakshina comes her son called Karampal. That boy was given that name because he is the one that bestows the fruit of your action. He gives the desired blessing that a person prays for. So how does it work? How does this family help a person? By conducting the yag. The yag is not necessarily, when we think yajna, we think, we have the big crowd, big food, plenty things. Yagna means sacrifice. It could be a personal yagya, hawan, your guru mantra offering, just ghee into the fire. That's your prayer. What we might say pray. The sacrifice that you do, that's the yagya. And you're calling the energy of that devata to witness this. And the charity that a person gives invocates the wife called Dakshina. And what is the blessing? The blessing is that child called Karampal. Karma, Pal means fruit of the action that you have done. According to the rule of karma, how you give is so you get. So if a person shares food, the logic is, one day when I need, I will always have. But there are more avenues in that road. For example, if we go to Garud Puran in Prit Manjali, there is a section that tells you why do you give, if we're doing puja and we want to charhawe, a little kanhawar or a washrag or the cotton, why do you do that? The logic is, again the law of karma, how you give is so you get. So when you give cotton stuff, anything, it could be a towel or whatever you could afford, the logic is, dear God, look today, Yagya Dev, in my puja, I am giving this cotton. Please bear witness to my charity. What is the karampal? What is the returning benefit? The day you are in trouble, before you could think, dear Lord, help me, dear God, save me, before you could think that with your mind, that help is pre. It make like you pre-invest, so the help come in it ready. A simple example for children to understand. It happens too often that we might get a flat tire, Baba, rushing up the highway to go to our prayers, and a tire happen to blow, okay? We pull to the side, be on the shoulder now, see it in your mind. You still grumbling, oh God, this stupid tire, again, keep back now, I'm late for my prayers. You did not say, dear God, send me some help. Prabhu, I don't even know how to change that tire in that car. That a pass through your head here. But somebody just pull up behind you. I don't know if you had that experience. Somebody jump out. Pundit, you're doing your nice curtain. Move now. Move. Go from here. You ain't know about changing tire. Person change the tire quick. And this is just an example. And say, right, you safely go up the road. In this example, you might say, God, it have good Samaritan, it have angels that walk amongst we. But how is it there are some people have days like that, and then it have some people this mean the bandit side you know. When you and I sit down and pray and we give this form of Dakshina, I'm saying this is Dakshina, a gift, a token in charity, this type gives that help, that rescue, that savior. Whether the savior could be the doctor, the policeman, a kind word when you're on your most depressed day. God used people to do his bidding, but you could only get those blessings if you do the action to get the reaction. So when you pray in front, when you're doing your prayers, dear God, you see the day I cannot for anything remember you are going to die, you're going to get in an accident, something bad coming. You see it, everyday cars mash up on the roadway and people walk out. People get sick with COVID and they walked out of the hospital. And those miracles are happening because of the actions and the type of karma that some people engage in. Based on this is where Karampal is told that you go and live with the Karam Karta. Karam Karta is another word for the person who is performing the karma, the good karma. Live with them, look after them, and reward them. For those people that would perform the yagya, the sacrifice, the austerity, the charity, whatsoever, and would share, call upon, invocate Dakshina, and as a result of that, take ownership of the action, and in doing so, now gain the blessing. Take ownership of the action. Remember, just a moment ago, I said people were doing yag, but the Baba was getting all the blessings. So in our dharma, as Sanatanists, not only in prayers, we don't like to owe people. We like to pay back and pay off. I don't want to owe you, because the concept of reincarnation, where if I owe you now, I will have to come back to pay you for that. And that doesn't have to do with Siddha and Dakshina for Pundit only. Do you know you have to repay your parents? Do you think you repay them? Let's say for the milk your mother give you. Do you know you have to pay back for that? There is nothing in this world that you get for free, truthfully. In every instance, in our belief as Hindu, you come alone and you have to go alone. So you cannot owe anybody. So it has become, based on Katha like this and Gita and many other places, that it is not strange when the neighbor send, girl, look, I send a basin with some cucumber. I picked some this morning. My grandmother and my mother used to send back 2 tomatoes. This is to equalize that equation. I don't want to owe you. If you don't know what I'm talking about when you say you're paying back your mother, let me just remind you. Garud Puran talks about the value or what is defined as a son. A son, putra, is the one who does whatever is necessary to uplift the parent. But a son is not necessarily biological. What are you saying, Baba? Remember this. A son is 2 things. A son is the person who shaves their head on the morning of the funeral, and secondly, the son is the one who lifts the box. That makes a person a son. So when people talk about, oh, he doesn't have a son, he's going to hell. They don't understand what a son is. How many people have 5 sons now? Think about what I'm saying. Haven't you gone somewhere and see somebody adopt somebody as a son? Think about it. And the reason for that is, sometimes people have biological son and them don't care at all. But I didn't have a son, Pundit. And the neighbor next door who have no interest in insurance or pension or whatsoever the person have, they will just do it out of love, whatever it has to be done. What they have to do. When the moment to lift that box comes, and the boy lifts the box, preferably they lift it on the shoulder, but if you're heavy like Baba, to lift that box on the shoulder might be hard. So by lifting the box, the person is straining, and when they're straining, the prayers that is being uttered, it says, Mommy, because of your milk, I got a skeleton, I got muscles, and I got strength. With the marrow in my body today, I have grown, and now I take what I am and what I have to lift you from where you are to where you have to go. And I wish you safe and easy travels, but I pay you back for the milk, the bone that you melt inside your body to give me milk. I want to pay you back for that. I do not want to owe you. Daddy the same, Guru the same, in every way we try to pay back. Then comes, for example, Auntie Oma had a satsang, and we went to get parasad and food. Auntie Oma could real cook. So we sit down in the shed and we watching the satsang. Not we prayers, we not doing puja, we not involved. We witnessing the puja one side and we witnessing the Pundit singing on the singhasan next side. But when it done, I don't know if you ever had the experience, the arati coming around, and I took my hand in my pocket and I took out $1. And I put my little dollar and I passed the light to get the blessing. And why I did that one, of course, to get the blessing of the light that was passed around the murti. I want to get that ashirvad upon my body. But that $1 gift that I sent to the Pundit, because that's for no one else except the Pundit. The reason I did that is between me and that Baba. Every time the Pundit, a teacher, gives you knowledge that you did not have before, your understanding in the context of what we are talking about religious knowledge. But think about the school teacher, the music teacher, the person who gives you something that you did not have. You were an empty vessel before, and now this person, by their actions, by their explanation, you are becoming filled. You are now going to step up your religious game, your musical game, your secular knowledge game. You are now going to be permanently different. I don't want to owe you, Guruji. Please accept this little gift. Who does that? In the discourse with Hanuman Baba. Who is the Guru of Hanuman Baba? Surya Narayan Swami. Surya Dev says, okay, Indra, you want me to accept him as a Shishya? I will teach him. And as Surya is passing from the eastern side to the western side on the hemisphere, we are told that Hanuman Baba would run backward and he would absorb in days, in a few days, he took everything from Guruji. When it was done, Hanuman Baba says, I don't wish to owe you. I don't wish, after all that knowledge you have imparted, I don't wish to walk away. It's improper to just take from somebody. Take. And I cannot give back, to pay you off. I don't want to owe you like that. That is not our way. Please, let me give you some Dakshina. Let me give you some iota of payment, so that I do not owe you. And in doing it, I'm going to get blessings. In this example, Surya says, you are a little monkey in front of me. I'm the center of this universe. There's no amount of gold or gem that you could give me that I don't already have. So when it comes to financial, tangible Dakshina, that is not going to work. He says, then let me give you some seva that will be my Dakshina. And I want you to listen to this part. Many people think Dakshina means money. But Dakshina is a gift of gratitude. It could be money. It could be a fruit, like when they say long time, you carry an apple for the teacher. A gift of thanks. A thank you, whatever thank you is, that is Dakshina. And what that does is, when you give people that thank you, there is where you get the reward for your good works. Hanuman Baba says, give me some seva, let me do something you want done, and in doing it, I will pay my Dakshina to you, Guruji. And he says, this is why we do Hanuman Puja on a Saturday. He says, Shani, my son, he's a very hardened guy. He's not listening to me. If you go and bring back my son and you reunite me and him, that is your seva. We know Hanuman Baba took the piece of iron, the rod that Shani Devta is to lean on, and he beat him. And he tied him up, and what nobody couldn't do, what Ravan couldn't do, what many other people couldn't do, to Shani Dev, Hanuman Baba, by his strength, he did it. And for that reason, till today, when Shani Dev, Saturday in Hindi, Shanivar, when Saturday comes and Shani is at his strongest and he's affecting many people, by the blessings of Surya Narayan, he says, you are going to be worshipped on a Saturday. And when people do that, they would be able to overcome the effects of Shani. In this example, and these are just a couple of examples to clarify this thing called Dakshina. Dakshina is a Devi, is a mother, that when you give that thanks, when you give that gratitude, because in Gita, there are different ways you could give thanks. He says, for example, a person gives a gift, referencing Dakshina inclusive. Imagine I gave the gift and I was glad to give it and I freely gave it and I forgot about it. That is sattvic. But suppose I gave the gift and I was studying, oh God, are you bound to give Pundit a half pong a dal boy? I should have given him a quarter pong. I'm sorry, I give that child a wash rag. Guruji Shivanan, he didn't smile with me today. I shouldn't have given him that shawl. He didn't bong for that. I didn't bong to give him 2. I could have given him 1. With that griping, read your Gita. That griping kind of attitude, that is Rajasic, and it would not lead to the best type. It would not lead to the best type of karampal that you are looking for. And the worst type is where you use people. You take from your guru, you take from your family, you take from the people. Let me say you have a praise, and the tanti and them come and they slave from 5 o'clock in the morning, leaving the house undone, and they come and they cook so that your prayers could be successful. You cannot cook the way them ladies will cook. When the prayer is done, at least I buy a little wash rag to say, Tanti, these were I buy for you. Thank you. And then it have some people, I'm not going to give them anything. I don't want to give nobody anything. I'll forget about that. I will cheat them. That form of tamasic, now he talks about that. He says, understand, Devi, of your role between your husband, the yagya, the prayers, the puja, and please understand, I'm saying yagya, but yagya applies to the smallest puja or to the biggest puja. They are all something you are sacrificing. Maybe you're fasting, maybe you're making offerings of fruits or sweets or whatsoever. You are doing something to get blessing. And your son, the karampal, when you are invoked, your son is going to reach to the person doing the prayer. By doing the yag and invoking you as the thanksgiving, then your child is able to run freely in that home, bringing about as if it were a Lakshmi, or meaning Lakshmi Mata, or that type of barakat that some people loses. However, if a person neglects you and thinks to themselves, they will rob everybody, they will use everybody, and they would do the yoga, and that alone is going to bring happiness. Please understand this now. Let's hear what happens in this verse. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam,
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam,
Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Trairatre Takshaye Gunaha, Saptamam Ye Dvijaya Tataha, Mase Lakshmi Gun Prokta Brahmana Guru Haye Yatam Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam 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 Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. In order for the Karam Karta to truly enjoy the product of their sacrifice, yagya, austerity, let's use English, charity or good works, the person must repay those that assisted, not only the Brahman, not only the Guru, but each person that helped, that guided, that decorated, that brought chairs, cut the leaf, everybody. If it is to offer, please, I had a prayer and I wanted to give you something if the person don't have a fee. But in all fairness, in today's world, when the musician have their fee, you respect that. You don't try to outsmart or curtail that person. Those people have families, they have bills to pay. Do you think the person who is playing the drum, for example, as an example, do you think when they come and they sweat so that your satsang could go good, or the person who comes and plasters the wall so that your place will look good to your standard when you have your prayer, your place looks good, your prayers pass good, do you forget that person has to face the tea and tech bill or the water bill? When in your mind you think, I go forget to pay that person. When those types of thought understand that when one night pass, when 3 nights pass, and that gift of Dakshina is not given or paid, it robs you of the luster of your house. Instead of you going up, you're going to see downfall. This is why, O Narad, many people pray, but not everybody gets the same outcome. One must be mindful of their duty to repay the people that come and sweat so that their activity could be successful. If a person is able to do everything for themselves, well, then you have no problem. But if a person is dependent on the input of other people, according to our sastras and Manusmriti, echoed here in Devi Bhagwat, then a person should respect the person's input and give them whatever is due to them. If it is only to what a person could offer, give it with a good mind so that the blessings don't only follow yourself, but usually the pitras and those, based on our conversation yesterday about the role of Swadha Devi, there it becomes beneficial not only for those that are living, but for those that have gone on before. If the person conducts their yagya and they do not pay their sacrificial fees, or what we say in Dakshina, their gifts of appreciation, then the Karampal will not come in the way that you want it to come. If a person fasts, yes, but what you're praying for, it may not happen. And sometimes people, oh Narad, are left waiting as if they are holding their breath, waiting for the blessings to manifest. If a person, Narad Muni says, well, suppose I made this mistake, Prabhu. I think we understand the logic. We all know that. You don't owe for prayers. And I just want to remind you of that. If the person came and they cooked the roti for you, have respect. Very simple. Have respect. And you pay for what you agreed. If you cannot afford it, cook less roti, invite less people to your prayer, maybe save up and wait for the moment to come when you could properly do your prayers. These are all options. But when, and I think I'm talking about something else, when you give your word that, listen, I want you to decorate here as if it is the Taj Mahal, give me the best, and the prayers pass. And then the poor decorator come and he says, okay, well, the event is done, wedding, whatever. This is the bill we agreed on. Oh, and don't worry, I will see you in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Many people have those experiences. According to our dharma, that is not correct and it is not right. It is wrong. Suppose I made that mistake. this is going in a different way now. We understand what is to be done, what is not to be done, and we have discussed briefly why. You want the blessing, well then do it the right way. If now, the question is, Baba, I never heard this discourse before. I've made that mistake. But in my heart, I'm telling you the truth. It had a satsang. It had a birthday party. And I really ordered a cake. And I did not pay the person. In my mind, I said, I'm going and hit them a shot. And I'm going to rob the person. I did that. Within myself, I did that. What could I do? I'm seeing financial ruin. I'm seeing the business coming down. I don't know where the bills are coming. Everything is going wrong. The marriage is going haywire. What could I do? And this is where now Lord Vishnu says, for those people that have made this mistake, they have done their goodly deed, the Yagna, which is again not only puja, but it could be we going by the old age home. We tell somebody to make up some bags. We're going by the children's home or whatsoever is the case. And we did that. But we did not pay the people for their time or their labor or their service. If the performer of the sacrifice did not pay from the priest to the person doing the work or their bidding, then that person needs to remedy this narad and cut the rope that is pulling them down. This type of negative action acts as if it is weight on your ankles, pulling you down, dragging you down, whilst you are living in this life. The quality of your marriage, the quality of your savings, your job, your experience. Do you get to go on a vacation? Do you find yourself enjoying your time at home? Or is your home feeling like it's choking you and you have to bolt to the door? You're always ready to go. Whereas some people, their home is the castle. If I don't leave my house, may miss nothing. That type of mentality. If you are experiencing these type of problems, then this applies to you. Let me give one simple example based on something I said before. Imagine, as Pundits, today I have Guruji Shivanand with me, and we are always talking about how things are becoming in today's society. He has students, I have students. And recently I went to do a funeral and listened to what one son says to the other son. Of course, their mother passed away. It's equal parents, love, everybody love. But, Pundit, I am not going to walk around that fire. I'm not going to lift that box. I'm not going to do none of that praise. So I said, why? That's your mother? Instinctively that fly out of my mouth. That's your mother? Maybe. Yes, but Bab, she gave my brother the house. She gave my brother this, that, and the other. And I am not, he take the money and do she praise. No problem. That guy did the praise and he will get the blessing for doing that praise and doing it and everything that was done. What do you think will happen to this guy? The one that says because he didn't get the house, he's not going to do it. This is an example of where a child is robbing the self. Parents don't die. The child is robbing the self the opportunity to repay the mother for the milk. At a minimum, forget all who say and all who do. Not everybody have a good relationship in their home or their family, I agree. But at the end of it, you have to pay back for that milk. And if the role calls upon you to go and touch hand, to do your duty, do your duty. In doing your duty, you will get liberation. If a person has done that type of thought or deed that robs the individual of repaying or doing the Dakshina giving, then that person is going to drag down not only himself but the family as well. Because what happens? Lakshmi leaves such a person. The prosperity, the health leaves this person. And the person now has to save themselves by worshipping Dakshina Mata. When different type of puja is being done, they call her again inside the kalsa. How does it look? In the person sitting for puja, they would face east, right? Baba is facing north. In the northeastern corner of the bidi, they put a kalsa. And in that kalsa, you put a shaligram, and using the mantras that we'll chant soon for everybody to hear, you call upon Dakshina Mata, you listen to this discourse, you chant the stotra that the husband Yagna Dev, Yagya Dev, he chanted, and you pray for forgiveness. If a person has robbed their guru, robbed their parent, robbed their guru bhai or guru sister or something older than you, if you have done these things and you are finding that your house is filled with hardship, think about this, what I'm saying. Sudama and Krishna are best friends. But when he cheated Krishna, when he robbed Krishna, when Krishna was hungry, and he says, Sudama, knowing that Sudama had some rice hidden in his dhoti, you have something to eat? And Sudama lied. And he says, no, I have none. And he scuffled it and he eat it there quick. For the rest of his life, he saw financial hardship. And only when he makes amends and he gives the gift to Krishna, only then the Lakshmi returned to him in that discourse for children to understand. In the same way, when the person remedies by chanting the mantra, again I'm saying we'll do that job just now, then the person is able to see the merit of their action. So Narad Muni says, suppose somebody did yag or sacrifice or charity, they didn't do the Dakshina payment, whether to Pundit or to people or whatever. Where does the benefit go? Is it sitting there waiting on the person? Is it waiting for me? Or is there a time factor? And Lord Vishnu says, when a person neglects to do prayer properly, it is as if you lose it to someone. But who is the somebody? He says there's somebody who is waiting to absorb and to pick up these lost moments that people discard, people throw away. Narad Muni wants to know, who is this person? What are you talking about? Bhaliye tat pradanye cha vaman punah muniyatam ashya tritiya shraddhadhan vaman deva chayah vrishva bali pat vripran pujan bhali patal yeyatam asan dvijaye kartam yagya munishwara pujanaye tatha. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Do you remember in the incarnation of Lord Vishnu as the dwarf, Vaman? In that time, when he came as the dwarf, there was the king by the name of Bali. That is the guy who says, he gives him the 3 footsteps of land, he puts one in the heaven, one on earth, and he says, where to put the third one? And he says, put it right here. When Bali did that, Bali became a worker for Lord Vishnu, and he was placed in Patal. And Lord Vishnu tells him that whenever people do activity and they lose the merit of this activity, they did not complete the fast, did not complete the puja, they broke the fast, they broke the tenets of sattvic prayer. When these things are being done, when people do prayers from an impure standpoint, when the Pundit does not chant Gayatri, when a person does not fast properly, when a person does the prayer like a machine, but he is devoid of devotion, he is an enemy to his guru, and he does these type of acts where he's bowing to the guru but he hates the person, when instead of they accrue the benefit, Bali, you stand here in Patal, and all the merit that should have gone to those people, that should have gone to the person doing the puja, let it all come to you. If the person does not make or remedy their mistakes, you keep it and allow it to benefit yourself. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. This is why people till today, whether in prayers with your Pundit, whether in the music class, the donation for the yag, people don't like to owe in prayers. I want to see the change in my life now. This is why when you listen to the story of Brihaspati, Jupiter, they talk about if you are not able to give charity, do not give promise. Do not make the statement that I will give you all the flour, And because of how bills run, when the time come now for that to manifest, oh well, I can't do that again, you know. Extreme circumstances aside, don't make promise. Don't say, okay, you see, when I turn 50, I'm going to do satsang and prayers. But when 2 days before 50 come, me feeling the fast again, now boy. Because your words have value. And when you do these things, Bali, according to our understanding, Bali is the person being enriched by the little goods that we do on a day-to-day basis. Yagna, listening to all the benefit that he would be able to get help now from his consort, that through his consort now this son came, and this son is going to reward the people that were doing puja. People were doing puja, remember we said that? But they weren't getting the blessing. But now because of this divine structure, people would engage in their prayer and they would receive their blessings. Listening to this, Narad Muni says, please tell me the prayer when I have the shaligram inside the kalsa. What is the mantra? What could I do to ask for forgiveness if I did make this mistake, Guruji? What could a person do? Kripam kuru mahabhage mamme va swaminam kuru karminam karmanam devi tvameva palada sada. Dear lady who is the consort of the Yagna, may you come back to my home. May you forgive me, O Devi. I, the doer of the action, bless my action to be of a higher standard. And bless my karma, my good karma, to bear fruit. Bless whatever good I do, minor or major, bless it to bear fruit so that I could see good in my life. O Narad, when a person in this way sits to pray and you want to see blessing, a simple mantra, there's a long stotra here, but if you want to chant a simple mantra, please write it down. Those of you at home, remember this secret mantra: Om Shring Kling Hring Dakshinaya Swaha. People do puja for her using that beej mantra. How you're supposed to sit in Sukhasana or Padmasana form. Sit upright, keeping your back neck straight, the neck and the back, try your best to get that straight. Maybe you lean to the wall to maintain your posture. And in a whispering volume, recite the mantra. And what happens is, the person who has made their mistakes, not understanding why they would not try to not owe the pundit or owe this person or owe that person, this is a time for you to ask for forgiveness. If I made that mistake, if I was delaying, if I was tarrying and paying off somebody, dear God, I don't want that. I want to have prosperity. I want, when I do my prayers, I see change in my life. I want to do it correct. If my mind sometimes I grows when I give somebody charity, help me to improve. Help me to do it better so that when I do it again, I'm going to see the fruits of my action in a short term in my life, because I need help. When you have CXE, when you have A-levels, when you don't know where you're going in your life, for people who have depression and different ailments mentally, when you have a child with schizophrenia and different forms on gradient of autism, and you need God to work properly in your life, maybe we could do a more appropriate, a more proper form of prayer. Maybe we could improve so that when we supplicate, we could get a better response. Because Hindus are guided by karma. How you do is so you're going to get. There are some people that, God, give me anything. I got to take anything you give me. Anything. How it come, it come. But when God gives you anything, you vex. Something to think about in your prayer. Could we improve? Remember what he says in Gita as we conclude this evening, as we come to the end of our discourse. Verily, there is no purifier in this world in comparison to knowledge. The person who perfects knowledge and yoga of following it, they are only going to grow from strength to strength as they purify themselves. That person who has faith, mastered their senses, devoted to spiritual practices, attains knowledge, and is able to get that knowledge to work in their life, how to practically apply it. that person attains peace. Verse 39, chapter 4. That peace, we spoke about that the first day. He says in a different verse, if a person does not have peace of mind, will they ever be happy? Happiness could never come to the person who doesn't have peace of mind. But if you apply to your spirituality knowledge so that you get it correct. As I said the first day, there are people that they are doing Havan, Om Namah Shiva, Om Namah Shiva, and they forget totally the word Swaha. When you learn the value of Swaha and you Om Namah Shivaya Swaha and you learn to say it properly in the right location. Suppose I said Om Swaha Namah Shivaya. I'm saying the words. Would it yield the same? And this is where the knowledge comes from in this example. If you learn how to say a mantra and the right mantra, imagine I'm doing Indra Puja, but I really want the blessing of Saraswati to help me beat maths for CXC. Or maybe I learned the right mantra for the right desire. Imagine I went to the doctor in a different way. I went to the doctor. Tell me, waiting. I have a pain right here in my earlobe, but the doctor gave me elbow medicine to fix this problem. Likewise, sometimes if we don't know the science of prayer, the science of mantras, we may be saying prayers, but it may not be the most suitable prayers to the problems that we have. In this way, the Karam Karta, as they learn and imbibe within themselves more and more knowledge, and you start to climb based on what we are taught in Gita, this is how the pul of that karma, the fruits of your actions, start to enrich your life. You start to see it. You start to get happy because you know when you pray, God is active. But it begins with you, not necessarily God himself. Ask for the devotion, ask for the knowledge, ask for the ability to grow. And when you do it and you do it right, trust me, God works. Prem se bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Before we conclude, let's chant a little thing to Devi Ma. For these 3 nights, for these 3 sessions, we here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram, as we continue to provide in this medium and every other medium that would permit the knowledge, the explanations that we all need, and I took these simple forms, Swaha, Swadha and Dakshina, to bring a little more clarity to your understanding. Let's chant together as we give thanks to Mother, as we thank her for this time spent together in prayer. I expect that some of you would have listened to it, and there will be questions, and I will encourage you to please send me on Facebook, on the YouTube, on WhatsApp, whichever medium, wherever you are. If you find me on TikTok, wherever, send me your questions. Please take my number, give me a call, and we'll keep in touch and definitely address your questions. Let's join together as we celebrate Mother. He Mahagauri, He Mahadevi, mere vinati sun lo, mere vinati sun lo. He Mahagauri, He Maha, मेरे विनती सुन लो,
मेरे विनती सुन लो।
पहली बार निहालनी ऐसा ना जान क्या हुआ, मन में भी चिंता चैन भी मिलता, शांति देवो माता। हे महागौरी, हे महादेवी,
तेरे विनती सुन लो, तेरे विनती सुन लो।
तू ही है सरस्वती जगदम्बा, लक्ष्मी दुर्गा भवानी कालिका, Uma Parvati Girija Ambe, Uma Parvati Girija Ambe, ऐसा नहीं सब नाम भजे, हे महागौरी हे महादेवी,
तेरी विनती सुन लो,
मेरे बिनती सुन लो। नाम अनंत तुम्हारो माता, जैसे तुझे पुकार, बार बार तेरा नाम मिलिंदा, आ गए तेरे द्वार। हे महागौरी हे महादेवी,
तेरी विनती सुन लो,
मेरे बिनती सुन लो, मेरे बिनती सुन लो, मेरे बिनती सुन लो। प्रेम से बोलो आदि शक्ति माता की जय। For the Pandits looking on, Devi Bhagwat is where this katha is housed, but there is also reference to the importance of Dakshina in Devi Bhagwat in the second Kand in book 8, where Raja Harishchandra is having Yagna, and what happens when he did not give thanks, he did not pay his Dakshina, and the ruin that came. It is like an example to what we discussed today. Further, in Brahmavaivat Puran, this Devi is also discussed at great lengths. For those of you that are teaching in your temples, to your loved ones, your family, please draw on this information so that we can get it right in our Hindu homes. Everybody, as always, it was a pleasure being in your company, and I thank you for the opportunity to have taught and to explain these little tidbits about our Dharma. I want to thank Shivanand Maharaj for being here with me today, and we are going to talk more soon about classes and upcoming events in the Shiv Sangeet School of Music as well as in the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. For now, everybody, as we conclude, I thank you again and wish you God's blessings. Please join your hands as we do final pratna. Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Hari Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together everybody, Prem se bolo Mahapati Mahadeva ki jai, Pawana Sudha Hanuman ki jai, Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki jai, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai, jai jai. Sitaram. Sitaram everybody.
Sitaram, and thank you for joining us. That was a very informative and beautiful satsang presented by Pundit Keshava Gosine. You can call or WhatsApp Panditji at 712-2180. Sitaram.
Sitaram everybody. Pundit Keshava here, just reminding you about our ongoing classes here at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. Here, starting in September, when the academic year is going to restart, we have classes in Sanskrit at different levels, Hindi at different levels, Ramayana, Gita, Hanuman Chalisa, Bal Ramayana for young children, for teenagers, we have Ramayana classes to encourage that learning, training, teaching, to ensure the propagation of our Dharma. For more information, please get in contact with me. Also here at the ashram, we are a branch for the Shiv Sangeet School of Music, headed by that master, Shivanand Maharaj. Everybody, as he always tells me, everybody has talent. Everybody has a gift, something God-given. But you need that guru to groom it and to develop it and to grow your child in that way. Or maybe you're an adult and you always wanted to do it, now is the time. All these classes are online and it works for you whether you are watching Sankhya or you are watching from abroad or wherever in this world you are. This is an opportunity for you to learn and to better your skill and to grow your inner talent. Whether it is on the music side or the academic side, the religious side, whatever is your fancy, please get in contact and find out more. Get in touch and register now. Everybody, God bless you, blessings to your family, and we'll talk soon. Sitaram. Sitaram, everybody. Pundit Keshava Gosine here, just taking time to remind you about the ongoing book drive at the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. It has been our observation that many children, and things are getting harder now, parents can't get that extra to buy books for leisure reading. But in today's world, there is a high illiteracy level amongst children and young at heart people. So what we're doing, we're collecting those gently used books that are still in good condition that we could re-gift to people, parents, children, and anybody for that matter that would use them. If you have books just lying around, we are willing and happy to accept them. Please, for more information, get in contact with us. You could WhatsApp me or you could WhatsApp Mommy Baba through our numbers, WhatsApp, Facebook, any medium. Get in contact with us and join us in this venture. I thank you and God bless you and bless your family. Sitaram.
Good day. My name is Omkar, inviting you to join me every Thursday afternoon from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. for my program Diksha. On Diksha, we